coalition, we are part of this coalition, that we are playing our role in educating people. This program is an important program.
Yeah.
The last program we had, a lot of people told me they learned a lot of things, and they call in and they were able to ask questions and so on. So on the question of agriculture, Mr. Sharma, we do not have a minister that is implementing the manifesto commitment of agriculture.
Hold your line for me, please. Hold your
That's the
line.
problem we have, Mr. Sharma.
Hold on, yeah.
We do not have a minister
Yeah,
who
yeah,
understands.
yeah.
Look, four things quickly. The re-establishment of the Agricultural Industrial Bank that was set up by Mr. Burnham.
Mr. Sharma,
Yeah, just hold your line for me, please. Hold your
I
line.
don't have that much credit.
Yes, okay.
The
He
failure.
doesn't have much credit.
Okay.
Let
Go
him
ahead,
talk.
go ahead,
Let
please.
him talk.
Mr. Sharma,
Yes,
I used to call this program a lot
yes,
when the PPP was in office
yes,
for the wrong that they was doing.
yes.
But you know what? There ain't really no change to me that I'm seeing. The wrong still continue.
Okay.
Most people in the city council, I don't know if they don't have no thinkers or not, but if you see around the market how it's being run right now, it's ridiculous. I should think it was Ms. Super that had something to do with the way Georgetown was run, but Georgetown is run by a bunch of backwards thinking donkey card minded people. You know, I'm so frustrated with our country right now. I thought we would be in a better position right now, but every day I hear people complain about what's going on in this society, and I thought there would be a change right now, but there ain't no change.
Okay.
All it's been is an exchange, and I'm very upset.
Okay.
And it's time that I voted for Justice for All Party, and it's time that you and Jai Paul start thinking about people and their wages. The people is not working for no kind of money in this country. Look how they got the market right now, the city council.
Yeah.
They got space barred off with nobody using it, and just a bunch of confusion, and police is harassing people all day around there.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Let me, yeah, Mr.
City Council.
What is
What the
some of
city
your-
council, he said
and
no
something
change
matter, yeah.
from
Yeah,
Suba to
yeah,
King.
yeah.
That's a complex
Okay.
matter.
No comments from Mr. Campbell. Mr. Sharma, let me continue this agriculture.
Yeah.
You see, I have to use the manifesto.
That's right.
And it
Use the
says
proper way.
the right to food.
Yes.
The right to food, all basic food items to be duty-free. But a lot of these food items, as Mr. Hamilton Green said in another program, I
That's
keep,
right.
I keep quoting him,
That's
you know
my
why?
manifesto.
Because he makes some
Yeah.
profound statement
yeah.
coming from his own
Yeah.
practical experience, not theory. We can't have agriculture. We can't produce food, Mr. Sharma, if we don't have a proper agricultural policy. This
Yeah.
government does have an agricultural policy, and it's hinged on the re-establishment of the agricultural industrial bank. Unless you have that, Mr. Sharma, you are not going to be able to access finance. This problem that the farmers are facing with IPED and the banks, the commercial banks, we are not going to be able to do that. This shows the foresight of Mr. Burnham. And the IMF and World Bank, when Chedi Jagan came to office, forced them to close down the agriculture and industrial bank. They closed it down on the excuse that there were a lot of corruption in the bank. Now, how these commercial banks don't complain about corruption? What we need to do is to correct the situation. You correct the situation and make it right. So if 3 years ago we had established the agricultural industrial bank, Mr. Sharma, you would have had thriving agriculture. The president is quite right in saying that people must turn to set up their own businesses, farming and so on. But if you don't have the finance, you cannot do it. This small business loan, Mr. Sharma, that they set aside $100 million. $100 million? What a shame and a disgrace. The Minister of Business, I tell you confidentially, but it's on air now, that he was against the setting up of the Agricultural and Industrial Bank. And it goes to the doorstep of the AFC, the leadership of the AFC, because I have to make a distinction between the leadership of the AFC and the grassroots members who are terribly disappointed by the leadership of Mr. Nagamutu, Mr. Ramjatan, and Mr. Trotko.
Colin, hello.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Mr. Sharma, very try for Sharma.
You coming?
You coming?
After him, the plane are on here.
The plane?
Yes. What is it?
We say?
Ask him if the plane
Is
is
it
not
crazy,
here.
crazy? You
It's
drink-
like-
you
it's
drink
like that-
beer on Saturday.
it's like,
Friday, Saturday. You drink.
that-
You drink on
That
Saturday.
movie, yeah.
Yeah.
The plane,
Give me
and
some. Yeah.
No, agriculture,
TV.
again,
Yes.
is something we've lost the way over the past few years. And we've got to recover the zeal and to develop to our people a new understanding of the importance of agriculture. When we started on the program, Feed, Clothe, and House is a serious matter. You go in the markets and you find paws imported. Unbelievable. And this is what,
Apples in large quantities.
well,
Grapes.
you know, when Bonham banned apples, a lot of criticism. Up to now, I don't eat apples,
I
even when it's given to me,
I don't buy it.
because it's against me. You know, I only use local fruits.
We import lemons. So.
Carter, hello?
No, we need to know what is new with
Yeah.
in terms of policy. What, besides sugar, what have this has Holder done in terms of diversification and whatnot?
Nothing. Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Hello? Hello?
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to Mr. Ramon,
Yes.
Mr. Sharma, the mayor, Mr.
Yeah.
Sankey. Good afternoon,
Yeah.
everybody.
Good afternoon.
The teacher them need more money. The bus operator arguing that they gotta get raise the pay, you know, the pay increase. We need to know what's going on with the marijuana bill.
Yeah.
Everybody, we need to raise the pay, we need ganja for you guys, so.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Well, there's so many components to
Yeah,
that marijuana
yeah.
bill. First of all, we're looking at people going to jail for
Okay.
having possession of small things.
No, there's a difference.
Rama, what do you want to marijuana?
And then you have those who are growing
There is
marijuana is a different
there is
story.
a difference.
Yeah.
I am totally against the use of marijuana, small or big. I don't care what anybody says. It has shown completely.
So you think they should be
That-
jailed for 3 years?
No. That's a different matter.
Yeah.
That's a different matter. I don't think anybody should be jailed for that. Because spend the police times doing other things than running after people who got a little bit of marijuana. That's an excuse, right? Because smoking cigarette, Mr. Sharma, you know that,
Yes.
is as bad as marijuana.
Yeah. How you know?
Well, the research have shown that
Yes.
conclusively.
Yes.
And now they're talking about medical marijuana.
Okay.
They put a board in front of it, but it does the kind of destruction to our society, and I cannot sit here and support it. I am totally against it.
Okay.
Totally. I have seen people that have been destroyed right in front of my very eyes.
Yes.
And so therefore, I'm against smoking, I'm against
Okay.
alcohol, I'm against marijuana.
Against alcohol, you said?
May I wait? We
Yeah,
will
but
take
I mean,
on the
it's
marijuana
a-
story.
A-
Marijuana.
A process has started.
Yes.
I attended one consultation at
Yes.
St. Stanislaus College. CARICOM is looking at this whole thing.
Yes.
In Jamaica, they have decriminalized the issue.
Marijuana.
Other
Okay.
countries are doing it.
Yes.
Ghana, I suspect, is moving towards that. I agree, we shouldn't have people jailed for a few joints of stuff. It's a very complex question because I don't think the research is complete. For me, we've seen alcohol destroy families.
Yeah.
Okay.
And in the same way, marijuana can destroy families.
That's right.
But again, it has to do with the cultural response of a group of people. I have no doubt I have a relative who works in a farm in the United States where it's legal. And I've been told of the medical benefits of it. There are different strands of marijuana, different species. So we have to get ourselves right. What you see happening in Guyana, some people who claim their families have been destroyed, is not by marijuana alone. It's a combination of other drugs that they use. So it's not a simple matter.
But Mr. Green, the moment you start using that type of thing, then other hard drugs come in, and that's well. Look, Mr. Sharma,
Not always.
The thing, Mr. Sharma, that needs to be done
Okay.
on these kinds of programs and other programs is a series of
Okay.
education. We
Now, here's some more
we
content.
need to educate our people.
Carter, hello?
Yeah, but it's not always. people move from the soft drug to the hard
Not
drug. but-
always. I mean,
but,
it's- it's
but in
it's
Holland, you know, people are.
It's in proportion.
It's accepted.
I lived in the United Kingdom. I lived in areas where young people smoke marijuana and so on, and the police running after them and so on. They have to have a policy, and the big boys who actually supply it and make the billions, they're not caught, Mr. Sharma. That's the problem.
You see,
Because the
the-
police, in many cases, are bought over.
The
That's the
human
problem we have.
tendency, once you make something unavailable,
Yeah.
Yes,
it becomes attractive.
the demand for it.
So you've got to be very careful.
Hold on
how
for
you
me,
do
please.
this.
Yeah. Colony, hello. Hello.
Sharma,
Yes.
listen, I need to run this country, move this country forward. We don't want dope, no dope in this country. Nobody must get it.
Okay.
Don't want those three people next to you.
Yeah.
You don't need to see no more.
Okay. Thank you very much.
There's an important element
Yes.
about marijuana,
Yeah.
cigarettes, and alcohol.
Yes.
I have contended if a society has an aggressive program, a meaningful program of sport and culture, the young people in particular will have no interest
Yes.
in heightening themselves.
Exactly.
If you got a program where young men are playing cricket, football, soccer, going to a cadet school, you keep them busy.
Exactly.
And that's the problem we need. I told an American ambassador once, spend the money that you're spending now to chase after those ships with drugs, put it in massive sporting programs, young people wouldn't go after these
Yes, it
things.
is. You see, Mr. Sharma, look,
Yes.
we have set up these hubs around the country. I have been very critical of it, Mr. Sharma, because I did that in England. Set up computer training centers and teach people who don't know anything
So why
at
you
all.
came back? Why you came back?
Why I came back?
Yeah.
Because I want to serve my country.
Okay.
I can't.
Very, very good
I
idea.
cannot sit abroad.
Yeah.
And talk about my country and write glowingly
Oh,
about
okay,
it and
okay.
criticize this
We
government.
also need to restart national service.
We need to start national service.
That's right. I agree with-
I
agree with
made
that.
the statement
Yeah.
this morning in that same thing that I wrote, Mr.
Yeah.
Sharma. Listen to this carefully.
Yes.
I said that our supporters and activists of this government have not read the president's vision on a whole host of things. He has produced a whole set of booklets and pamphlets on national service, on social cohesion, on education and so on. But if our people who are promoting, who are supposed to educate people, if the schools, the teachers don't read these things, how are we going to how are we going to promote the government policy? The policy of the education department is to promote the policies and program of the government in schools. And if the teachers don't know about it, we can't promote it.
Yeah.
And we can't have social
Yeah.
cohesion. Social cohesion is
Oh.
not a cup of tea.
Yeah. Colony here.
Good afternoon, Mr. Sharma.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you and the panel.
Yes.
Yeah, good afternoon.
So, I like the point you just made, okay? But you
Yeah.
got to be more quick, you know?
Yeah.
Take up a few times.
Yeah.
That's one. Two, Mr. Sharma, everybody talking about this marijuana.
Yes.
But nobody is speaking about the rum.
Yes.
There are 10-year-olds, 5-year-olds, 15-year-olds, 15-year-olds, Bangal Resort.
Yes.
These
Yeah.
things that started people to go commit themselves.
Yes.
Kill his family, joke with his body. You never see a drunk man walking the road with smoke marijuana. But after man drinking rum, you see police road start. We got to be precise, man, and
Yeah.
reasonable.
The CPR is promoting the rum.
They got people to drink as well. They got people to drink the fuck. They got people to drink marijuana.
Cricket,
You can come
El
from
Dorado
police,
is massive. They're selling rum.
Okay.
El Dorado massive.
Anything else?
Say that.
Yeah, the El Dorado
Yeah,
rum is
yeah.
selling massively with,
Yeah.
with the CPL cricket.
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
You could see the promotion is.
But what is the
it-
advertising?
Yeah, the people are
agent?
drinking El Dorado rum like anything at the cricket.
What is
But
the-
that is why I'm saying the nexus we're having with when you have sport. Mr. Green was speaking about sport is so important to move you away from these things like
Evil
drugs and
things.
drinking. But the CPL cricket is promoting El Dorado rum.
Yeah.
You know.
We should consider that
That's
very
different to what
seriously.
I
Yeah,
talked.
Colony, hello.
I talk an arrangement where
Hello?
every school community has a massive
Hello?
sporting program.
Yes. No, yours
Yeah.
are different.
Yeah.
What
Those
is-
social
Yeah.
events is a different thing.
Yes. It was a conscious effort of getting people off the street and so on. It's a conscious effort. I was saying about these internet things. You have them about the place, Mr. Sharma. One, there's nobody who's properly supervising them. So the people come there and they get the Wi-Fi and they sit outside and they chat with their friends. So these things must be used productively. When Minister Rupert Rupnarayan was the Minister of Education, we had a long discussion about how do we do these things. Now the President, with his understanding of education, he set up a special ministry, Mr. Sharma, telecommunication ministry, with a special minister. And we are not having these things being, that's why the people are very upset
Okay.
that you have ministers who are highly paid, but they are not performing.
Yeah. Caller, you're in the air. Hello?
Hello, Mr. Sharma.
Yes?
I want to make a small comment on the marijuana thing and to
Yes.
bring
Yes. Go ahead, please.
recent attention this
Yes.
last visit by the Americans.
Yes.
And today's papers confirm my suspicion because the IMF is suggesting that the GPN in a bad shape. That visit is very ominous to the nation.
Okay.
And I'm prophesizing that there are three things that is going to happen. One, they're going to ask you to privatize the power, the hospital, the prison, the bridges, and the road system. This is
Yeah.
the reason why those people were here.
Yeah.
And we see from the hint from the IMF, they've already put the program into motion.
Yeah.
What these people normally do is get the nations to get involved in projects whose cost is so prohibitive that by the time you get involved in them, then the nation is definitely in debt.
How you know what all about that? How you know all about that? How you know about that?
No, I know it because I read a book, for example.
I read the book, okay. Okay. Okay.
I read a book on
Okay,
this matter.
okay.
That is the way
Okay.
that the IMF and these people do, that they get to these nations and ask them to privatize the wealth.
Yeah.
The nation has been
How
going
you know
on.
the book right message? The books.
The nation has been going on
Yeah.
and surviving.
Okay then, good. All right.
And there is no haste.
Okay.
So that life energy is important for
Okay.
development.
Okay, good.
There is no indecent haste that
Yeah.
we should now
Yes,
start
yes,
privatizing this
yes.
industry at a time when in theory the government might be able to raise sufficient.
Hello?
You won't get caught up.
The president.
Yeah. You credit it. Mr. Green,
Yeah, but,
why
uh,
you sleep with you know what some you're a egg deal, you're a alcohol and the marijuana.
Well, I've said what I said before. Let us begin an aggressive sporting culture program. A lot is being done, but I think we can do more.
Okay.
No, but you
But
could
it
have,
has to be expansive, it has to be massive. You've got to get teachers in schools. Each and every school should have one or two playgrounds.
Okay.
It is an absurdity to have a school
Yeah.
where there are no grounds. I've opposed, both at City Hall and Central Housing and Plan Authority, giving people permission to open schools where there are no grounds.
Okay.
But you know,
Yeah.
other people seem to have
but
different
but
ideas.
after the sporting event,
Yeah.
the athletes
Yeah.
can go and for social
That's
drinking
all right.
and
That's
one
all
drink
right.
leads to
Please, hold
another.
the line.
Yeah, but if you
Yeah.
keep
Yeah.
kids busy,
Yeah.
running, jumping, learning, they don't have time for anything else.
There are other activities.
They have just time to go and sleep.
Exactly.
Call you near.
No, I'm not so sure about that.
I-
No, it's easier said than done. As I said,
No,
I was an
no.
athlete, you know. I know what I'm
No,
talking about.
But we live in a modern society where we have facilities. Like for
No.
instance, the internet is a powerful thing.
After the event and they go to
A
celebrate,
very significant, perhaps 90% of our young people, they have this
Yes,
phone,
yes.
this type of phones, so they can pick up the internet. When they go to these hubs, they're easily able to use that. But also, they have computers in these places. And I agree with Mr. Hamilton Green. If people are productively involved, they
Yes.
would not.
Hold the line for me.
They
Hold
would
the
not.
line.
They would not
Yes.
go, Mr. Sharma, and do evil.
Yes.
okay, yeah.
Call you. Go ahead, please.
What about the oil and gas sector?
Okay. That's all?
What about the oil and gas sector?
Oil and gas
Yes,
sector.
yes. Waiting for the oil and gas sector.
I spoke with that already.
Yes.
That much more.
Waiting for the oil and gas.
Experts on that now.
I'm going to tell you something about that. I don't believe that we should put all our eggs in one basket. I think it's a mistake. Look, when this government came into being, everybody will remember, gas and oil was not on the agenda. Look at our manifesto.
The green,
Yes,
yeah.
we are talking about a green economy. It becomes now a contradiction of us talking about a green economy and trying to produce oil at the rate that you see the Americans who are here, the ExxonMobil and these other companies, they don't care a hell about our economy, you know. They don't care a hell about our environment. It has its consequences. What we have all agreed, we have all here agreed, that when the oil comes, we must use it productively to invest in agriculture in particular, and other areas, in infrastructure and so on, build proper roads and proper transportation, public transportation system, so we don't have this kind of carnage that we have on the road. So
Colin, yeah.
Yeah, and Dr. Durga had wanted we have a modular
we're talking about the
refinery.
modular refinery. I see, and Jagir is right about this. We must stop this nonsense about having secret contracts. I don't understand what is going on. This is sort of madness.
Yeah.
The Trinidadians who never had anything to do with us, when
No,
when we had
I wouldn't say
economic
that.
crisis here, Mr. Green will remember,
No.
our people used to go to Trinidad and they used to treat them very, very badly.
Yeah, that's
now
true.
the Trinidad economy is in crisis.
Right, so that's right. That's
And
what you said.
we
What
have
you said
the
is
oil
true.
here.
No,
They're
they
now
treated
trying-
the people
Yeah,
badly, but
right.
according to Minister Greenwich, they helped us between 1975 and 1992.
To do what?
In terms of oil.
You know who helped us?
Access
You know who,
oil
you know who really
where-
helped us with oil?
Yeah.
Mr. Chavez. Hugo Chavez. He signed that contract, that Petrocaribe fund in 2005,
I agree with that, but what I'm saying, Mr. Green is here. Is it true what
Yeah,
what
is that
Mr.
true?
Green has said that
Yeah.
Trinidad helped us between 1975?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Not to the extent of Venezuela.
Colin, hello? Hello?
Hello?
Yes?
Yeah, Mr. Sharma.
Yes.
Concerning the teachers back again, right?
Yes.
People calling in and saying that the teachers, they're always on the cell phone and the warm up.
And they got private lessons.
Yes.
Right? But listen to this. The president, at the storm of this government, said that the ministers must concentrate on their work, so he's giving them 50%. Now, Mr. Rahman is saying, the agriculture minister is not performing, and he's still getting paid. And the president is not looking in and saying, well, look, all the ministers who are performing, put a sanction on them or something. But y'all want
But what
the
sanction?
government to put a sanction on teachers for not performing.
What sanction you think should be put? Fire them?
Fire them, yes. Fire them, yes.
Yeah.
Fire
You
them.
have to put the same principles on the ministers then.
Exactly,
Not put them in
agreed.
performing.
I agree with
They
you.
can pay big-
Nobody is above the law. The American Constitution says nobody is above the law. Here too, nobody is the law. You are
That's right,
employed,
nobody above
you
the law.
are employed to
Yeah.
do a job.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear this nonsense about you telling me you used to be a lawyer
Yeah.
and then you come as a minister.
Yeah.
Mr. Hamilton didn't have that kind of thing.
Oh.
He came and he joined.
Llewellyn
the
John
government.
was a lawyer and-
Yes.
and he didn't ask
He
for any
didn't
special
ask-
consideration.
They didn't
When he
ask for
became a
anything
minister?
special. They came to become ministers,
Yeah.
and they knew what their responsibility
Yeah.
was going to do, and they carried out their duty to the best of their ability. And this nonsense about you got to get them, they got to raise their salary, got to be the same as what some of them were useless lawyers and whatever profession they were doing.
Yeah.
You check them out. Mr. Nagamutu, for instance, as the prime minister, I took many cases to him, and he lost all those cases. So they were useless lawyers. So they come to as ministers, and they want to have the same benefits.
Yeah.
That cannot happen.
Oh.
And that is why they were going to lose massively at the local government election.
Colin, you're here.
Good afternoon to you, Mr.
Good
Sharma,
afternoon.
your
Yes,
party.
yes.
I just have a few points.
Yes.
Concerning the first point.
Yeah.
Could you imagine an officer that driving the police vehicle was drunk
Yes.
and knocked down a man, kill him, and he get bail next 3 to 4 days, he get bail.
Yeah.
And he was drunk, officer in charge in the vehicle, he driving, officer in charge, and he drunk. When they take his car at 100 and high
What?
sky,
Yes. How you know about that? How you know about that?
Huh?
How you know he's drunk?
It was on the news, Mr. Sharma.
Okay. Not everything
After
we
that
in
knocked
this.
down the man.
Yeah.
He was
When they said
tested.
he
Okay.
breath,
Yeah.
it was sky high.
Yeah.
And the other officer there in charge of the vehicle
Oh,
on the night
Dookie
walking
get out.
patrol,
Yes, yes.
and the officer drunk.
Okay.
Another point.
Okay.
What the minister is really doing, because our crime rate is really going high.
Yes.
Every crime that commits firearm use.
Yes.
Is there a step that the minister or someone could sit down? How could we deal with it? We have to get serious with these things.
Yes.
Because when somebody comes to take your thing and they have a gun, they will kill you. When they kill you, you gone. You have to get serious with these firearms.
Yeah, that's
And serious things
Yeah, yes.
must put in
And they
place.
can get off on
Our
manslaughter.
security and guns using is certain
Manslaughter
things
come out after
Yeah.
5
must be
years.
dealt with, that people must be scared of it. It look like if a man got a gun and he could walk about with it, come, stick you up, kill you, take you to a gun. He have no penalty of what is going on.
Okay.
Anyway, that's my point, Mr. Sharma.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I think Dookie got off on his charge where he was caught with the liquor and so on.
Liquors.
You know.
You got up?
Is that true?
Yes, you see, Mr. Sharma, let me make this point. And you're a man who like to ask for evidence. Well, I
Yes.
give you the evidence if you
Yes.
question me about it. Because I went to see the police legal advisor.
Yes.
Recently, there's a case in Corriverton where I had to intervene to get some kind of justice for this man.
Yes.
The man's equipment was stolen.
Yes.
The police, I saw the evidence, Mr. Sharma. I can give it to you.
Yes.
Where all the photograph was taken, where the man who bought the stolen stuff, nearly 50 items, the police went there and they took photograph of this thing. These things were given to the prosecutor.
Yes.
Listen carefully. The man in question,
Yes.
the man in question,
Yes.
Mr. Sharma,
Yes.
whose things were stolen,
Yes.
he was not summoned to come to the day when
Yes.
this trial, this hearing was going to take
Yes.
place.
Yes.
He suddenly realized, and I was here, I was with him with the prosecutor,
Yes.
said that the man didn't turn up to the court, but the man said, you didn't tell me.
He didn't notify.
You didn't notify
That's
me.
the trick.
Okay.
That's the trick.
And he said, told the man, the prosecutor told the man, the
Yes.
police prosecutor
Yes.
told the man, in my presence, and I taped him, if you want to
Yes.
hear it,
Yes.
because you want to hear evidence.
Yes.
He said that you didn't turn up, so the evidence could not have been presented,
That's
Mr.
right.
Sharma.
Yes.
So
So what become
the
that?
prosecutor is, so I asked the prosecutor, I said, who is supposed to present the evidence?
Yeah.
Up to the can
Yeah.
answer. Silence.
No,
So what has happened is that the case was dismissed.
That is what
It
happened.
amounted to $60 million the man lost.
This
Yeah.
is this is the
Now the man has to take civil action
Yeah.
to recover.
Yeah.
The man who was charged for stealing these items, he sold them out.
Yeah.
You see,
He sold them out.
I've had
So
experience.
what I agree with the president, we do not want bribable
Okay.
police.
It is happening all
We
the
do
time.
not want bribable police. That is why the man who was acting